I have always thought the actions of men the best interpreters of their thoughts. All wealth is the product of labor. It is one thing to show a man that he is in an error, and another to put him in possession of the truth. Fortitude is the guard and support of the other virtues. The reason why men enter into society is the preservation of their property. The end of law is not to abolish or restrain, but to preserve and enlarge freedom. For in all the states of created beings capable of law, where there is no law, there is no freedom. What worries you, masters you. There is frequently more to be learned from the unexpected questions of a child than the discourse of men. It is easier for a tutor to command than to teach. Reading furnishes the mind only with materials of knowledge. It is thinking that makes what we read ours. Government has no other end but the preservation of property. New opinions are always suspected and usually opposed, without any other reason but because they are not common. We are like chameleons. We take our hue and the color of our moral character from those who are around us. The only defense against the world is a thorough knowledge of it. Parents wonder why the streams are bitter, when they themselves poison the fount. To love truth for truth's sake is the principal part of human perfection in this world, and the seed plot of all other virtues. The discipline of desire is the background of character. Every man has a property in his own person. This nobody has a right to, but himself. An excellent man, like precious metal, is in every way invariable. A villain, like the beams of a balance, is always varying, upwards and downwards. We are born to be, if we please, rational creatures, but it is use and exercise only that makes us so. Our incomes are like our shoes. If too small, they gall and pinch us, but if too large, they cause us to stumble and to trip. Fashion, for the most part, is nothing but the ostentation of riches. There are 1,000 ways to wealth, but only one way to heaven. Our business here is not to know all things, but those which concern our conduct. To love our neighbor as ourselves is such a truth for regulating human society, that by that alone one might determine all the cases in social morality. Education begins the gentleman, but reading, good company, and reflection must finish him. No man's knowledge here can go beyond his experience. Where all is but dream, reasoning and arguments are of no use, truth and knowledge nothing. One unerring mark of the love of truth is not entertaining any proposition with greater assurance than the proofs it is built upon will warrant. Long discourses and philosophical readings at best, amaze and confound, but do not instruct children. Men being, as has been said, by nature, all free, equal, and independent, no one can be put out of this estate and subjected to the political power of another without his own consent. Revolt is the right of the people. But there is only one thing which gathers people into seditious commotion, and that is oppression. Few men think, yet all will have opinions. Hence men's opinions are superficial and confused. To prejudge other men's notions before we have looked into them is not to show their darkness, but to put out our own eyes. Things of this world are in so constant a flux that nothing remains long in the same state. All men are liable to error, and most men are, in many points, by passion or interest, under temptation to it. The dread of evil is a much more forcible principle of human actions than the prospect of good. We should have great fewer disputes in the world if words were taken for what they are, the signs of our ideas only, and not for things themselves. Reverie is when ideas float in our mind without reflection or regard of the understanding. I have spent more than half a lifetime trying to express the tragic moment. Anyone reflecting upon the thought he has of the delight which any present or absent thing is apt to produce in him has the idea we call love.